Hey, welcome to a new lesson. Today we're going to learn about how to round numbers. I hope you're enjoying these videos and that these videos are becoming helpful for you. Before we get into checking our division problems from the last lesson and getting into the new concept of rounding, we're going to do the multiplication family of the 6. We're going to do the 6 family. We'll start with 6 times 1. 6 times 1, 6. 6 times 2, 12. 6 times 3, 18. 6 times 4, 24. 6 times 5, 30. 6 times 6, 36. 6 times 7, 42. 6 times 8, 48. 6 times 9, 54. 6 times 10, 60. 6 times 11, 66. 6 times 12, 72. Let's do that again. 6 times 1, 6. 6 times 2, 12. 6 times 3, 18. 6 times 4, 24. 6 times 5, 30. 6 times 6, 36. 6 times 7, 42. 6 times 8, 48. 6 times 9, 54. 6 times 10, 60. 6 times 11, 66. 6 times 12, 72. Great job, guys. We're going to get into a little bit of measurement concept. If you have ever seen a ruler, well, you know a ruler has 12 inches. A ruler is 1 foot. So let's do some quick math measurements. We have 1 foot. How many inches is 1 foot? 1 foot is 12 inches. Say that again. 1 foot is 12 inches. Let me hear you say it. Good. 1 foot is 12 inches. All right. Then we have 1 yard. If we have 1 yard, we have 3 feet. This is like 3 rulers stuck together, like end to end. This would be 3 rulers. Makes a yardstick. 1 yard is 3 feet. Say that. 1 yard is 3 feet. And in that yard, we have 1 yard would be 36 inches. 1 yard would be 36 inches. Again, a ruler is a foot and it has 12 inches. And if we took 3 rulers and put them end to end, we would have 3 feet. And 12 times 3 would be 36. So that gives us 36 inches. So 1 yard is 36 inches. We use inches and yards for measurement, linear measurement, as if you were going to do a project or draw lines on your art project, or do a home construction and you would need to measure out a piece of wood. We also have 1 mile. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. We also have miles in yards. 1 mile is 1,760 yards. 1 mile is 1,760 yards. So let's do these again real quick. So we have 1 yard, and we said 1 yard was 3 feet. Great job. We said 1 foot. 1 foot is 12 inches exactly. Whoops. And 1 yard, again, that's 3 feet put together, and makes a yardstick. We have 36 inches. Very good. Now we're going to get into checking our math problems that we left off with last time. Remember, with division, we want to remember that dead monkeys stink bad, because that's the process that we want to follow as divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. Again, we will use that process over and over from step 1 through finish, and we will always start with divide. Here we have this problem, 324 divided by 6. Remember, Mrs. French puts a little multiplication sign there because when we multiply back, it's just a visual cue. All right, can 3 be divided by 6? No, because 3 is smaller than 6. So let's go to the 32. Well, if we do our 6 families, which we practiced today, we know that 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 was 30, and 6 times 6 is 36. So let's use 5. Let's put a 5 right here. That's our division. Now we're going to multiply 5 times 6, and we're going to get 30. Now we're going to subtract. We're going to get 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 3 would be 0. Then we're going to bring down our 4. Now we start all over again with 24 divided by 6. Our 6 tables tells us that 6 times 4 is 24. So we'll put a 4 here. 4 times 6 again was 24. We're down to going to subtract. We'll get a 0. We look to see if we have anything else to bring down, and in this problem we do not. So we are done. 54 is our quotient. In this one, we had 16,824 as our dividend, and we're going to divide it by 8. So 8 will be our divisor. we'll put a little multiplication sign right there to remind us for the multiplication back. But let's start with division. Can we divide 1 by 8? No, again, 1 is smaller, so let's go to 16. If we do our 8's tables, we have 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So we'll start with 2, we'll put a 2 there. Now we multiply back and you get 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. We're going to now bring down our 8 and we're going to start again. 8 divided by 8, well yes, 8 can go into 8 one time. So now multiply back, 1 times 8 is 8. Now we're going to subtract 8 from 8, gives us 0. Our step of bringing down, let's bring down the 2. Can 2 be divided by 8? No, but we have a number here, so we must put a 0 there. And if we multiply back, 0 times 8 is 0. Now we're going to subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring down that last number. Now I have 24, and again we start the process again. 24 divided by 8. Well, 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. So 3 times 8 is 24. Then I get 0, and I have no other number to bring down. So my quotient is 2,103. Good job, guys. Okay, today we're going to practice on rounding numbers. But before we round numbers, we must review the place value and where the digit is. Remember, each digit has a very important place. So we must remember we have the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, 1 millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, billions, 10 billions, 100 billions. Again, we need to remember ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion, 100 billion. Numbers can be rounded by ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, depending on the place that it's asking you to round. All right, so if we had the number, let's just say we had the number 12. All right, if we want to put that in between, say, the tens, okay? So it would be in between, it would be in between 10 and 20. The number 12 falls between 10 and 20. Now, if I was to ask you to round to the tens place, well, in this number 12, this is the ones, this is the tens place. I would underline the tens place. I look next door, and if it's 0 to 4, I stay on the floor. If it's 5 to 9, I'm going to rise to the sky. All right, so that's a good thing to remember. If it's 0 to 4, stay on the floor. If it's 5 to 9, go to the sky. All right, and what I mean by that is we're going to keep this as a 1 because this is a 2, so we have to stay on the floor. So it would be closer to 10. If I was to round 12 to the closest tens place, I would have 10. If I give you a number, let me erase some of this a little bit real quick. If I gave you the number 578 and I asked you to round it to the hundreds place, all right, ones, tens, hundreds, 578, what numbers, what hundreds does it fall between? Well, it falls between 500 and 600. Then I ask myself, well, what number is 578 closer to? Is it closer to the 500 or is it closer to the 600? Again, because we're rounding by the hundreds, we find the hundreds place, which is the 5. We look next door, and it's a 7. And if we remember 5 to 9 says go to the sky, means it's closer to 600. If I gave you the number 891 and asked you what hundreds 891 comes in between, well, it comes in between 800 and 900. Then I want you to round to either 800 or 900. I want you to round 891. Ones, tens, hundreds. 8 is in the hundreds. I look next door to the 9. That means I have to go to the sky. So it's closer to 900. All right. If I gave you 71 and asked you to what place would this be between, if we would round to the tens place, what is 71 between? Well, it's between 70 80. And if I asked you which number it's closer to, well, the 7 is in the tens place, and I look next door to the 1, that means stay on the floor, so it's closer to 70. All right? If I gave you, let's do a larger number. I think we can do it. All right, if I gave you 4,329,608. Yeah? All right, and I asked you to round to the thousands place. All right, well, let's find the thousands place. I'll erase this so it's off the board. Let's find the thousands place. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Underline the place that we're rounding. Then look next door. All right, so this is going to be 4,329,000, or is this going to be 4,330,000? Okay, well, the 6 tells us we have to go to the sky. So because this would go to a 10, this has to go to a 3. That's the next tens place. So we would make it 4,330,000. That's a big number, isn't it? All right, let me leave you with two or three of them to practice. Just a minute. Okay, I wrote 209 on here, and I put little arrows on her for us to round it. We're going to round 209 to the hundreds place. I'm going to give you a second to do that. All right, did you say it was 200 or 300? All right, yes, I hear 200. That is correct. The 2 is in the 100s place. We look next door. That means it's a 0. We stay on the floor. This 87, we're going to round to the tens place. So let's find the tens place. That's right, the 8 is in the tens place, and we look next door. So 87 would be rounded to, great, 90. And then we have 8,654, and we round it to the thousands place this time. So we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. I underline my 8, and I look next door. It's a 6, which means I go to the sky. So we would round this to 9,000. Great job today. And if you like these videos, please like and subscribe and share with your friends.